I played through the main event of SummerSlam in every WWE game. And the main event that we play in each of these games will be based on when the game came out, with some exceptions here and there. We also have some self-inflicted rules. Number 1, we must play on the hardest difficulty. Number 2, we must play as the winner of the match in real life. And number 3, we can't move on until we win. The first game we have is SmackDown 1, and the main event here is from SummerSlam 1999, where Triple H, Mankind, and Stone Cold fought for the WWF title. And yes, this game came out in 2000, but we're counting it as 1999 since the sequel came out in the same year. More on that later. Anyways, despite being a goober in comparison to the serious main eventers, I do pretty well as I have to take the role of Mankind, and unfortunately for Stone Cold, he gets walloped like 0 offense. And as for Triple H, he's able to build up his finisher meter, and in this game, whoever hits their finish first usually wins due to knockout. It becomes a race to hit my finish first, but an issue I have is that I don't know how to get in position. As things move so quickly in this game, you don't have much time to react, so you just kind of have to wing it. But after Stone Cold goes down, I take Triple H, pick him up, and lock on the Mandible Claw, and win. Easy peasy. The next WWE game we got here is SmackDown 2, which was released in November of 2000, and the main event is going to be Kurt Angle versus Triple H versus The Rock for the WWF title, so that's what we're focusing on. The game is basically identical to the previous game, both in gameplay and as well the number of players in the match. We're going to be taking the role of The Rock because he won the match. And unlike the previous game, this game, for whatever reason, is much more difficult. Playing as The Rock, Kurt and Trips proved to be a pain in the ass. Not to mention, there aren't many moves to do, so I keep using the same moves and run at everyone to build up my meter to get a finish. I get the finish eventually, but I run into the issue of trying to get the finish in as I take more time, they're building their meter too, and well, Triple H was able to get off his pedigree before I could get my rock bottom off, and the match was over. So I lost to this dickhead Triple H, and I have to try again. The second attempt I would fail again, but in my third attempt, despite taking 3 people's elbows, I was finally able to win a match and move on to the next game. Alright, the third game we have is SmackDown Just Bring It, and the game released in November of 2001. So the main event is Booker T versus The Rock for the WCW Championship. Anyways, we have a problem. While The Rock is in the game, Booker T is not. So, what do? Well, because I like you, don't take that too seriously, I'm gonna do something I never do. Attempt to make an accurate Booker T and create a wrestler. So, how will I do this with no CC? Well, getting a formula from game FAQs like the old days. If you're an OG, you know. This took a bit to make, so we'll speed through it, and while we're doing that speed through, like the video, comment down below what your favorite SummerSlam main event is, and also subscribe to the channel, it helps us out, okay? Thank you. After 20 or so minutes of creating, here's the final product. Looked good enough. But we also added an entrance and even a taunt. Yes, you could create your own animations, and by God, I wish they brought that back, but they won't. Anyways, after all of this investment, how did the match go? Was it a barn burner, show-stopping performance? No, it was kind of like a cheese. Taunting like crazy to build my finisher, and I get the rock bottom in the first minute, but a rope break leads to Booker locking in and trying to win, even if it'll kill me. Literally. What the fuck? Oh my god! Jesus! But despite this hiccup, one more rock bottom and it's over. So I basically wasted 30 minutes of my life for a 5-minute match. So that's cool. Alright, the next game is my favorite, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, and this game released in 2002, so the main event is Brock versus Rock for the WWE title, and Brock's actually in the game, so that's good. But we got another problem. The mem card save has nothing unlocked, and I'm not going to play through the season mode to get it. So we're going to cheat and just find a save on Game FAQs. With it unlocked, and with a bit of setup, we got everything unlocked. Wowie. In this game, they added a new difficulty called SmackDown difficulty. At first I thought, should be fine. But no. Just no. Playing as Brock Lesnar in the match, you'd think I'd do well, but The Rock was completely insane. He just wouldn't stop, and he had this annoying combo that would stun lock me, and it was really annoying. I tried, and The Rock got his finish in, so I did everything to avoid it, but alas, spinebuster, people's elbow, and after all the crappy theatrics, I get pinned by The Rock. This was going to be a lot harder than I thought. So after that L, I needed to lock the fuck in to get out of this game. My first strat is to cheese him by doing attack, run away, attack. Kinda worked, but this game is super arcadey and it's really fast. I unleashed the pain on Earl because why not? Screw him. And Rock misses a diving drop hit like a Dumbo. We go to the outside and I find a new strat to build some momentum. Literally just smack his ass with a sledgehammer and keep him there forever. Eventually, I get my finisher, and despite Rock trying to avoid it, I get the F5, but a freaking rope break stops it, so I beat up Earl again. And now I'm desperate, so I go for one thing that'll work. A table. And I put Rock through the table, I then push Rock away from the ropes, and I get the 3 and send Rock's ass to Hollywood, while the next big thing becomes the guy. Alright, the next game is SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and it released in 2003, so the main event I thought was Angle vs. Lesnar. But I was wrong, it was the second ever Elimination Chamber match that's known for Triple H burying Goldberg and retaining the world title. Thanks, Hunter. Good job, bud. But oh no! A new match type with 5 other opponents on Legends seems like an impossible task for me to survive, especially with the guys in it. But can I win my first attempt? The match starts off with Orton and Nash, and Orton just gets annihilated by Kevin Nash. Zero offense, and even eats a jackknife till Bill enters the match and saves Orton from elimination. But Orton then gets double teamed by these two until HBK and his poop tights enters the match, and mercifully Orton is eliminated. After 30 seconds or so, it's my time to get in the match, and this is where my brilliant strategy comes into play. What is it? Well, it's endlessly taunting on the outside while the other guys fight and I build up my finishers. Then run in, hit a pedigree, and win. Shawn tries to come after me, but once Jericho enters the match, it's basically the 4 CPUs fighting each other while I'm just cheesing it. The strat does work, and while Shawn is able to kick out of the first pedigree I do, let's just say that Shawn wasn't going to last much longer. Uh-oh. Oh, Shawn, don't do it. Don't do this, Shawn. You can't. No! Oh, Shawn. Don't worry. Here I come to eliminate you from the match. Yeah, get out of here, bub. God, what an idiot. Next, I go after Goldberg, and despite countering my first pedigree, the second one works, and he kicks out because he's fucking insane. Speaking of insane, for whatever reason, Kevin Nash climbs the pod, dives off, and breaks everything on impact. I sneak in and eliminate him, so now we're down to 3. I let Goldberg and Jericho go for a few minutes while I go back to taunting, and by the time Goldberg takes out Jericho, I've got 3 finishers stocked up, and once I get in, 1 pedigree to Goldberg, and the match is over. I win the first attempt, and it was inglorious to cheese through this. It honestly made me feel like Triple H in 2003. The next game is the original SmackDown vs. Raw, released in 2004. So the main event of this show is Randy Orton challenging for the World Championship against Chris Benoit. So we have to play as Randy and put down this rabid Wolverine. Going in, I knew Benoit would be a problem. He's a high overall, has high technicals, so he counters a lot, and his crossface could be game over because submissions are really hard to break out of. However, what I didn't expect to be as big of an issue is this little piece of crap, Edge. He became the most annoying little shit. Why? Well, he tries to attack me, distract the referee from pinfall attempts, and also raise his clean meter, and every time he maxed it, he interrupted the flow of the match over and over and over again. One RKO isn't enough as the match goes on, it's getting more difficult, and I try to pin him off anything. But nothing works, and I get the second RKO in, and he kicks out at 1. Oh my god. Then I decide the only way to win is to play dirty. I take out Earl and go for a chair while avoiding Edge, and smack the crap out of Benoit with it. I was able to get an RKO, so if I get one more in, I should win, but the ref calls for DQ, which Benoit retains. Great. Back for round 2, and it's still a huge pain, and that fucking idiot Edge is back to ruin the vibes. And even worse, Benoit no-sells the first RKO. I decided to use Edge as bait to build up my meter, and it freaking worked. One more RKO, and I win this in-game. Screw you, Edge, you fucking suck. The next game is SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, released in November of 2005, and the main event is Hulk Hogan vs. Shawn Michaels, which might be my favorite Hulk Hogan match for interesting reasons. We'd be playing as the Immortal One himself, Hulk Hogan, and I start out on the offense, but I'm not building any meter whatsoever, which isn't a good sign. The more he counters, the more it stops it in its tracks. So I do my old try and true tactic. Taunt to get a finish and eventually win, but HBK pretty much counters everything. and this game feels much more tougher than the previous ones. Not to mention the leg drop is an on-the-ground move, so I have to take Sean down and then trigger it. But despite my best attempts, I unfortunately lose after a sweet chin music, and Sean defeats me. But we're not done yet. We're the immortal one, Hulk Hogan, brother. We never quit. So we go for attempt number 2. I taunt for a finish once again, and I get the leg drop, even though Hulk takes his sweet-ass time to hit it, and Sean is back on his feet already. Rinse, repeat, a second leg drop, and again, Sean no-sells it and is back up. I get my meter maxed for a third time, and the most unexpected thing happens. This fucking idiot got himself disqualified on purpose. Why? I don't know, but a win is a win and we can move on. Next game is SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, released in 2006, and the SummerSlam main event was Edge vs. John Cena for the WWE title. Interestingly, you can't have a 1v1 with one manager, you can only do this with 2. So while Edge had his girlfriend Lita in his corner, Cena needed someone else, and for whatever reason, Stone Cold Steve Austin is here to step up the plate and help John Cena in this match. So that's pretty cool. The match, though, not so much, as it ended up being a 3-minute squash. Playing dirty throughout it, and 2 educations in the match is over and I retain. That is literally it. Nothing else of note. Other than the fact that if you hold the R2 trigger, you can make the centerpiece of the title spin around, so that's fun. Alright, next game is SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, and it released in 2007, so the SummerSlam main event was John Cena vs. Randy Orton. Before we could start the match, we had a problem. I had to get the belt off of Stone Cold because I did a previous video on it, which you should totally find on YouTube and check that out after this one. And I couldn't take it off without wrestling him. So I had to play through a match with Cena to get the belt off him. In double speed, John Cena took forever to win this match, like a complete douche. But he eventually got it done. So now Cena is champion. We can actually do the match as we play as Cena, and this was another squash match against Randy Orton. Just an ass kicking. Not only clowning on him, busting his Vipers, but 1 AA and an STF to end the main event in less than 5 minutes. Ouch. 10th game is SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, released in 2008, and the main event is actually a good one. Edge vs. Undertaker inside of a Hell in a Cell. We're going to be playing as the dead man, the Undertaker himself. And just like previous games, I really beat Edge's ass. And despite beating him down to a bloody pulp, I'm not finished with him. I decided to go to the outside, climb the cell to put Edge's ass through it, and boy, he went through it hard. But I'm still not done yet, and I go to the top again, and, well, I misstepped and I fell through the top of the cell, critically injuring myself. Luckily, Edge doesn't pin me, so what do I do next? Well, I go back up for one more attempt, and after fighting, I fall down again, so Edge is about to pin me and get back in the ring. I pop a kip up to stay into the match, and Tombstone Piledriver, and it's over. I survived 2 devastating falls and ended up beating Edge and sending his ass to hell. The next game is SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, and it released in 2009, so the main event of that year's SummerSlam was Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk in a TLC match. We're going to be playing as CM Punk with the intent to send Jeff Hardy to TNA and rehab. That's fucked up. And I wanted to put Jeff through a table. That was my main goal, was to make sure he goes through a table before winning. However, this proved to be a massive pain in the ass because I had to get Jeff on it, and I eventually gave up on the idea after I got him on the table and completely dived in the other direction. So that's cool. So now, my goal is just to win the match, and me and Hardy went to war in this match. After 15 minutes of going at it, we both get on top of the ladder in one more face-off where we both went at it. I punch him off, and then I fall off myself. So then I just decided to play dirty and cheap. I toss Jeff to the outside, knock him off the apron, climb up the ladder, and take down the championship before he can climb up and take me down. And that's it. Bye, Jeff. I hope TNA does you well. Okay, it kind of didn't. Next game, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and the game released in November of 2010. So the SummerSlam main event was a 7 vs. 7 tag match. Team WWE versus the Nexus. Now, we have a few problems. Firstly, we can't do 7v7 matches. You can't even have more than 7 people in a match. So yeah, that's a no-go. So that's one. The other, well, none of the Nexus members are in the game, at least base roster. The Nexus were DLC, but that's unattainable due to the servers being dead. So what now? Well, I picked the 3 most important people on Team WWE, John Cena, because, yeah, fuck him, Chris Jericho, and Bret Hart in his prime. And our opponents will be fully randomized, so representing the Nexus is Edge, who's a traitor, Chris Masters, and Vince McMahon. What a team. So, the match. I start off playing against Edge, and it goes terribly. He just dominates me until he tags in Vince, and this is where the tides turn. Okay, Cena got beaten down by Vince, but at least Bret got to lay in some shots onto this fucking asshole. Then I tagged out to Jericho, where the tides turned. Because Vince is so weak in this game, I beat him up and get the code breaker in, but a rope break, so I beat him up some more, walls, code breaker, and then Masters break it up. So what now? Well, I decided screw it and pinned him off of everything I could, and this proved to be very smart as I got super lucky when I pinned Vince and Masters went to the outside that allowed me to win the match and actually win a 6-man tag in less than 15 minutes. Which is pretty impressive, all things considered, because tag matches in wrestling games fucking suck. Alright, next game is WWE 12, and the 2011 main event was interesting. CM Punk versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship with Triple H as the special guest referee because he has to be in. But this freaking game is so hard it actually hurts. For whatever reason, the AI in this game are insane. Combine that with Cena being a 95, his finisher being so quick it's hard to counter, and how Triple H is a manager instead of a ref, and this was a complete and utter disaster. The first attempt sucked. Triple H constantly interfered and I lost to an AA out of nowhere. Second attempt in and I start to rely on running attacks and springboards, but because I didn't know what Punk's sig was, I couldn't hit it and Cena won again with an AA. Third freaking attempt, and I'm really starting to get annoyed at this. And despite my best attempts, thanks to Triple H's interference, I lose again. 3 attempts down and I've gotten nowhere, so what now? Well, let's just say things changed. And now, I'm going to give one more shot with Triple H gone for reasons. I guess he gave up on me. And I end up dominating John Cena for the most part. After beating him down, I call him up for a GTS, but Cena hulks up and misses his shoulder block, which leads to a GTS, and that's it. Thank fucking God, I'm done with this game. This game sucks. Hopefully the next one isn't as bad. Alright, the next game. WWE 13. Released in 2012 in the main event of 2012 SummerSlam. Can you guess it? Give it a good shot? Alright. It's Triple H versus Brock Lesnar in a no DQ match. Luckily, the situation was better than last game's, and it's also no DQ, so it's more fun to play. And I get to beat the shit out of this freaking dickhead. So, we go to the outside and we brawl around till I steal some fans' Coca-Cola and spit it in the face of King Spitter. I T-bone Triple H onto a trash can and nail F5 on the outside. I get back in the ring and pound Triple H with a steel chair for a bit, and then I break his neck with a chair, fall away slam, F5, and the match is done. Just like that, I left Triple H in a pool of blood and urine and vomit, and hopefully John Cena is next. The next game is 2K14, the game released in 2013, and the main event is Daniel Bryan versus John Cena for the WWE title, with Triple H as a special guest referee, and unlike WWE12, special ref matches are in this game, so this dickhead can be the ref. We're going to be playing as Daniel Bryan in this match, and because the game has a local save with downloaded creations on it, we have an updated version of Daniel Bryan to match his look at the time. The first attempt at this match doesn't go too well. After I get the running knee, Cena kicks out of it, and I attack Triple H, but he gets back up immediately and disqualifies me. Understandable, but fuck you, Hunter. But this is Cena, so I mainly rely on strikes, and this sidekick is pretty helpful in taking him down. But John decides to steal my taunt, and then hits my finisher on myself. But I kick out. I get caught in a belly-to-belly, and he actually pins me off that, that's cool. So after 2 losses, I'm annoyed, but at least this game is more fun than 12. And now I'm ready to beat his ass, and I've played this game so much that I've got the timing down for pretty much everything, even if I haven't played in 10 years. Series of kicks, many springboards, and after not 1, but 2 Busaiko knees, I finally get the 3 and win the WWE Championship, Daniel Bryan winning his first title. Such a great moment. You know, it would be an absolute shame if someone cashed in a Money in the Bank and took the title away from him, but That didn't happen, did it? The next game was WWE 2K15 on last gen. The game came out in 2014, and the main event for SummerSlam that year was John Cena defending the WWE World title against Brock Lesnar, which ended up being a squash, and Brock Lesnar was able to win. So we're going to replay this match as Lesnar. Can we win? Let's find out. Well, it ends up being a back and forth fight, but I do send his punk ass to Suplex City and get the F5. He kicks out, so I suplex him some more and try for a signature, but Cena counters and power bombs me down. I try again, and Cena counters it into an impaler. He tries for the AA, but I counter that. F5, game, set, match. We beat Cena once again, and Brock Lesnar becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion for the first time in like 10 years. Alright, the next game is WWE 2K16, which released in 2015, and the main event of this event was Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. And we're going to be playing as The Undertaker in this match because he actually beat Brock Lesnar with a low blow. And oh my god, this game is so slow. It is so bad. It is so freaking slow. Going from the fast-paced last-gen arcadey game 2K15 to this slog is honestly kind of jarring. Brock Lesnar ended up being very weak in this match, despite put on legend, and overall it was basically a cakewalk. Except one issue. Paul Heyman constantly saving Brock in this match, but despite Paul working harder than Brock Lesnar, a third tombstone piledriver after two previous piledrivers is able to finally get the win here, and Paul Heyman couldn't break it up. So we win as The Undertaker. Yeah! But don't worry, this is not going to be the end of Brock Lesnar in SummerSlam main events. Alright, the next game is WWE 2K17, and the game released in 2016 of November, and the main event this year was Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. So, here we go. After the entrance of Brock Lesnar, old Randy Orton comes out with his own championship belt, and I decide, fuck it, I'm Brock Lesnar, and I'm going to ambush Randy right out of the gate and suplex the shit out of him. And take the role of the lion taunting his prey throughout the entire match, and sizing him up throughout the match, and I get the F5 in onto Orton. But he kicks out, and I get a little too cocky and taunt Orton, like, come on, get up, let's go. And he tries for a signature, but I block it, and then I hit a second F5, and he kicks out again. And after a quick skirmish, Randy is able to build up his meter and tries for the RKO in a last-ditch effort, but I block it. Suplex City, third F5, and the 1, 2, 3. Orton tried to stay in as long as he possibly could, but just like in real life, he was left broken, battered, and beaten. The next game is WWE 2K18, released in 2017, and the SummerSlam main event this year was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe for the Universal Championship. Do you remember this match happening? I don't. But funny enough, you'd think I'd be at a disadvantage here with three other guys on Legend difficulty. However, the entrances for the match would end up being longer than the match itself. How? Well, firstly, I grab a sledgehammer and pummel each guy into a pulp with it. But eventually gets taken away, and Roman goes for a cover that kick out. Roman and Joe bump into one another, and Roman spears down Samoa Joe. I take out Roman with the counter and pin Samoa Joe. Despite Strowman trying to interfere and break it up, he's too late and instead takes out the ref, and I retain the Universal Championship in like 5 minutes. Good job, Lesnar, you actually won a match. Alright, next game is 2K19, and the game released in 2018, so we're replaying probably the most dreadful main event of SummerSlam's history between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in a rematch of WrestleMania 34. So we're going to be playing as the big dog Roman Reigns, and we have to beat Brock Lesnar this time around. However, this would not be an easy win, as this became a massive challenge. I'm fighting Brock Lesnar, who is beefed up in this game, and also that dastardly Paul Heyman is there to cause problems. The first attempt, this was an absolute battle, man. Just a really hard-fought contest between me and Brock. No matter how many finishers and signature moves I would hit on the Beast Incarnate, he kept coming back for more. And Paul Heyman proved to be vital in keeping Brock in the match. And despite me trying my damnedest, I would fall to Brock Lesnar after one final F5. But this isn't over yet. In my second attempt, I ran into the same issues. Despite the amount of spears that I gave to Brock, he not only survived them, but when I might actually win, Paul Heyman would break it up. hope seemed lost, to be honest, and it looked like that I was going to be here for a long while. But then something crazy happened. After 10 minutes of fighting, I pinned Brock Lesnar after a comeback because I'm really desperate. He grabs the bottom rope, but the ref misses it, and Paul doesn't see it either. So, because of that misstep, I am able to get the win here thanks to the referee's incompetence. But a win is a win, and we can move on. The next game is everyone's favorite wrestling game, WWE 2K20. It released in October of 2019, and we all know what happened with this game. But the main event of SummerSlam this year was Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And we're going to be playing as Seth Rollins in this match because he did win the championship in this match. Lesnar comes out, and I try to run for interference when he's in the ring. But yeah, I failed at that. And I was so upset that I clocked Lesnar with the championship, and I got disqualified. So, not a good start. So a rematch, and I haven't actually talked about the strategy to win in these 22 games. The plan is to waste all of their counters while keeping mine, and if they can't counter, they can't do anything to me. And it works like a charm. But for whatever reason, the control scheme in this game was changed again. Thanks 2K, really good job there, guys. Luckily, it really wouldn't matter since I hit one more signature, a roll through super kick, and the match is done. Just like that, with Paul Heyman not even caring to interfere. Seth Rollins wins the Universal Championship, and we can move on. Alright, next game was supposed to be W2K21, but that got cancelled, so we're missing a game here. And even in W2K22, both the two combatants are gone from the roster. So I decided to play this match in 2K24, and the 2020 SummerSlam main event between The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. As Bray Wyatt, because he's the winner, I went on to have an actually pretty fun no DQ match against Strowman. And even though I wanted to do some cool shit, like jumping off a ladder or putting through a flaming table, the AI didn't want to work with me, and ruined all of the cool spots. So in the end, a snake eyes through the previously lit on fire table, and one mandible claw shuts down Strowman, and Wyatt is the new Universal Heavyweight Champion. But this title reign would last a week before Roman Reigns returned and became the Tribal Chief. 23rd game here is the return of the series, WWE 2K22. So for this game, we're going to be focusing on the 2021 main event of SummerSlam between John Cena and Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And this game felt different from 2K20, but once I started getting in the groove of this match, this was another easy match. And Paul Heyman did help out a bit in this match, making it much easier on me. But again, John Cena was no match for me. Distracting John Cena, and despite kicking out of a spear at first, I lock in the guillotine chokehold and John taps out, and I retain the Universal title in 5 minutes. It is funny that John Cena was such a pain in the ass earlier, but now he's so much weaker, and I got revenge on both John Cena and Triple H for that WWE12 match, so I'm happy. Next game is WWE2K23. Despite releasing in 2023 actually, we're going to be focusing on the main event of 2022 SummerSlam between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. And the match would not only be insane in real life, it'd also be the final Brock Lesnar main event at SummerSlam. So we're going to play as Roman Reigns to send Brock Lesnar home for good in a last man standing match. The match starts off kind of boring, but eventually leads to both of us grabbing weapons and start going ham on one another. But I get the advantage and pummel Lesnar with the chair. And despite the beatdown, Brock Lesnar still has some fight and he goes for the F5, but I counter it. And I spear him down and wait for the count to see if this was the end. It looks to be the end of Brock Lesnar as he's down like, oh my god, he might actually get beat by this. But he barely breaks the count at 9. After he's up, I take a trip to Suplex City and I get up at 4. Both of us try for our finishes, but each of them get blocked, my spear and Brock's F5. I grab a kendo stick and whack Brock with it, but he rolls through and goes for the F5. I counter it and hit another spear. And this was an 8 count for Lesnar this time. So I smacked him in the head with the stairs, and after this, I take complete control of the match and destroy him. He gets basically no offense in, and after 2 more separate spears, the match is done. Brock Lesnar's down for the 10, and I retain the Universal Championship and see to the permanent end of Brock Lesnar in WWE. Maybe. The 25th game is WWE 2K24. And the main event of this show we're going to be focusing on was in 2023 with Roman Reigns defending the undisputed title against mid-card main event Jey Uso in tribal combat. Could Jey Uso send me into a losing spiral and make the tribal chief lose multiple times? Well, he did put up a fight, and the both of us used the no DQ stipulation to our advantage. However, I'd speared Jey down, but he kicked out of it, and despite a great Paul Heyman interference attempt, Jey would end up skinning a spear onto me when I tried it. I kick out of his spear, so Jey goes for broke and goes to the top rope for the diving splash to end it. I get out of the way, and it takes not one, but 2 spears separately, back to back, to end Jey Uso's night, and the tribal chief is still your undisputed champion, with no Jimmy Uso run-in. So I basically killed Jey Uso as a main event star. Great. We are now at the current wrestling game right now, WWE 2K25, and the main event here we're going to be doing first will be Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Solo Sikoa in the main event of SummerSlam 2024 in Bloodline Rules. I have to defend the WWE title against bum-ass Solo Sikoa in Bloodline Rules, and here's how the match went down. Alright, let's go kick some ass. You ready, Solo? Because I'm going to make sure I'm going to send your ass packing, brother. Oh my god. Okay, that's not a good start. Not a good start at all, guys. Alright, moonsault time. Oh god, it's blocked. Shh. So close. Oh god, Solo's got the chair. But no way! Here's the crossroads! That's gotta be it. There's no way Solo Sikoa can kick out of that. No way. 1, 2. Ah, shit. Oh, the Samoan splash! But wait a minute! It's my dad! My dad! Dusty! He's here! He's here for the save! Yeah, that's right. That's right, Solo. You think you can with us? Yeah, that's right. Atomic elbow. I'm gonna try to end this real quick. Alright, come on. 1, 2. Well. Alright, Dad. It's time to beat the crap out of Solo Sikoa. Let's go. Let's go. Right into the steps. Yeah, that's right. Double team, huh? Oh, right to that's right. Right to the back of your skull, Solo. Alright, Dusty. Go get him. Pick his ass in the ring. Throw him back in. Oh, wait. Jacob Fatu is here. Oh, God. Dad, don't worry. I'm going to stop Jacob Fatu. Ready? Oh, my God. All right. Maybe not. All right. Oh, Smoke Spike. The psych. And now, here comes the pedigree. Here we go. Pedigree time. Bam. Got it. Game over. Game over. 1. Fuck. Dad, do something. There you go. All right, that's it. Good job, Dad. I'll make sure I'll finish off Solo here. Here it is. Second crossroads. A cover. 1, 2, and it's over. Fuck you, Bronson. And we win without needing any help from 2 other guys. You know, pretty good, all things considered, and Solo Sikoa is now going back down to the mid-card where he belongs. However, this is not where the video ends, because we have 2 more matches, this year's SummerSlam main events. One of them is pretty obvious, and that will be saved for the final match. But the next match we have is going to be for the World Heavyweight Championship as Gunther defends against CM Punk. Since the match hasn't occurred, we don't have an official winner in the record books. So what are we going to do? Well, I decided to flip a coin to determine who we play as. Heads is the current champion, and tails is the challenger. And in this match, it landed on heads, so we're going to be playing as the Ring General Gunther. So here we go, the match. We start off with some chain wrestling, and this leads to Punk getting the advantage. He goes for a tope, but I roll out of the way and drop kick him down, and this is where I hit my finisher, but not the way you think. See, Gunther's finisher is a powerbomb, and if you can get him in the powerbomb position, carry position, you could press Y and they can't counter it, so you can instantly hit the finish. This only works for things like powerbombs. I went for the pin, and Punk kicked out. So I grabbed CM Punk and clotheslined him down, and because the ref failed to do his job, I did the same thing to him. After Punk tries to fight back, I Larry him down again, but wait, Drew McIntyre's Tron is on the stage, and out of nowhere, Drew comes behind me and hits me with the Glasgow's Kiss to take me out, and Drew McIntyre helping out CM Punk? I guess hell truly has frozen over, right? Well, unfortunately too bad, because CM Punk doesn't go for the pinfall for some reason, and does a springboard clothesline. However, this would prove to be a big mistake as I come back and powerbomb CM Punk again, but he kicks out. With both of us spent, this is how it ended. I get CM Punk in the corner, pick him up, and suplex him on the top of his head off the top turnbuckle. So I want to set up CM Punk for a powerbomb perhaps, but Punk counters with a jawbreaker and gets me in the GTS, but I block it mid-motion and fly out of it. I take him down with the lariat, put him on my shoulders, and then transition it into a powerbomb position and hit the Gunther bomb, and I win with the bridge. Gunther retains the World Championship against CM Punk, and the crowd goes mild. We have one more match, and it's the big one. It is Cody Rhodes challenging for the WWE Championship against current champion John Cena in the main event of Night 2 in a street fight. And just like the previous match, we flip a coin to choose who we play as, and it lands on tails, so Cody Rhodes is our chosen character, who will probably win the match anyways. The street fight starts out with some chain wrestling. Quickly in, I use Rage Mode to get a finish instantly and hit the first crossroads. Cena kicks out of it, so I tried to do the Cody Cutter, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just did a moonsault. And then I decided I'm going to do it again, but John Cena sidesteps me and I go crashing into the mat. But this didn't matter because John blows it in second crossroads, but again, John Cena kicks out. And after another short scuffle between me and Cena, I get the Cody Cutter finally, call him up, hit the crossroads, and win the WWE Championship, and this challenge is finally over. And we defeat the challenge. We went through every single WWE mainline game and replayed through every single main event. It might have been a long one, so thanks for watching everybody. Take care.